Welcome back to AnTick Machine, where we explore the craftsmanship, machines,
awesome.
and timeless processes that built the modern world. Today, we follow the journey of a giant pine tree, from its final moments deep in the forest, to its transformation into clean, usable lumber inside a working sawmill. This is not just about cutting wood. It's about precision, experience, and respect for nature. And as you'll see, every cut tells a story. Out here in the forest, cutting down a tree like this is never rushed. It begins at the base, where decades of growth have formed a trunk wider than a man can reach around. Before the saw even touches the wood, preparations are already in place. You'll notice the straps wrapped tightly around the trunk. These are not decorations. They are there to control how the wood fibers behave, reducing the risk of the trunk splitting violently as pressure builds inside. Because in a tree this size, tension is not just visible, it's stored deep within the grain. The first cut begins low and deliberate. This is the face cut, also known as the notch. The operator carefully angles the chainsaw, removing a wedge-shaped section from the front of the tree. Every movement is controlled. Too shallow, and the tree won't fall correctly. Too deep, and you lose the hinge that controls the fall. You can already see the clean geometry of the cut. Two precise angles meeting to form an opening. That opening is where the tree will fall.
Here we are.
Now we see something rarely used on smaller trees, a mechanical jack system inserted directly into the cut. This tool applies steady, mechanical force, far stronger and more controlled than manual wedges alone. As the operator activates it, the jack begins to expand.
Oh, yeah, to go.
You can actually see the wood fibers starting to separate, slowly, almost silently. This is not force, this is leverage.
I think you're running out of jack space now. Maybe get your bar out to the far side and see if it's loose. Could be, yeah. Still stuck? Yeah. I think you might have to put some wedges in there, tighten her up, lower the jack, and put a bigger chunk of wood in there. Oh, it's so close. I think you're maxed out in the jack there. Okay, I'll turn this off a sec. And I made a big pop. I think it's gonna go. It'll go. I think if you give it a minute. It's creaking. Here, want some bigger wedges? Might want to cut some of that flare out. Yeah. I think so, yeah. That's what I do. And then, yeah, that's what I do.
As the cut deepens, something else is
that might
introduced,
pop out.
wooden
Give it a
wedges.
try.
One by one,
Usually
they are
three
driven
wedges. You
into
might
the
wanna put
cut using a
sawdust in
hammer.
there, 'cause that
Each
might
strike
pop
pushes
out.
the tree ever so slightly forward, building pressure in a controlled way. These wedges prevent the tree from settling backward and pinching the saw. But in a tree, this large wedges alone are not enough.
Hang on. Yeah. Just get it set and then we'll lower the jack. Hopefully it doesn't sit back too much now.
Inside the trunk, thousands of pounds of internal stress are now shifting. The hinge remains intact, holding the tree in place, but just barely. The operator continues carefully, adjusting the cut, making sure the hinge thickness remains consistent across the width of the tree. Too thin, and the tree could fall unpredictably. Too thick, and it may not fall at all. This balance is where experience matters most.
Maybe just break this in half because it's split here already. Stack it. Yeah, the springs are working now. Slowly coming down. You got 4 of them here. Oh, they're holding. Oh, yeah. Oh, you know what? That's in there tight. That'll do it. Yeah.
Then it happens. A subtle movement, almost unnoticeable at first. The top of the tree begins to lean. The straps tighten. The fibers stretch. And the sound, a deep, cracking whisper, echoes through the forest.
Here. Oh, there she goes.
The ground trembles as it hits. Branches shake. Dust and wood particles rise into the air. And just like that, a tree that stood for generations
awesome.
is now lying on the forest floor. But if you look closely, this wasn't just cutting. This was engineering. Every cut, every wedge, every adjustment,
Where's your bar?
all working together
Okay,
to
good.
control something massive, with
Let me get that
precision.
shot of that.
And now, with the tree safely
Press
on the
the chain
ground,
right in the
the
wood.
next phase begins, turning this fallen giant into usable timber.
Laid it right out. Awesome. Dodge that.
Before any log enters the mill, the most important tool must be prepared: the saw blade. In large-scale lumber operations, blades are not simply replaced. They are maintained, sharpened, and calibrated with precision. Each tooth on the blade is inspected carefully. Over time, cutting through dense wood dulls the edges and reduces efficiency. A dull blade doesn't just slow production. It can damage the wood and strain the machinery. Using specialized grinding equipment, technicians restore each tooth to its exact angle. This ensures clean cuts and reduces friction during operation. But sharpening is only part of the process. The blade must also be tensioned correctly. Large circular or bandsaw blades expand when spinning at high speeds. If not properly tensioned, they can warp or vibrate, leading to uneven cuts. Balance, alignment, and spacing of the teeth are all adjusted with care. Because in a sawmill, precision is everything. Only when the blade is perfectly prepared can the real work begin.
Hey! Don't worry about it. No. Well, now you know why.
As the massive pine enters the sawmill, the pace changes. Out in the forest, everything was slow, deliberate. But here, the process becomes continuous, relentless. The log is placed onto a series of heavy steel rollers. These rollers do more than just move wood. They control direction, speed, and alignment. You can see the surface of the log, still rough, still carrying bark and irregular edges, as it rolls forward. Every rotation brings it closer to transformation. Above and around the conveyor, a network of green steel frames and mechanical arms hangs overhead. This is not a modern automated factory. This is a working mill where machines assist, but humans still decide. The first major cut begins. A large saw head, mounted on a fixed structure, meets the log. Instead of slicing quickly, it moves with steady, controlled force. The blade enters the wood, and immediately, the outer layer begins to peel away. What comes off is called a slab. You can see it clearly now, a long, uneven piece, with bark still clinging to one side. This is the natural outer shape of the tree being removed. Not waste, but the first step in revealing usable lumber inside. As the slab separates, it travels down the rollers. Rough, irregular, still carrying the story of the tree's outer life. Now the remaining log begins to take shape, flat on one side, more stable, more predictable. Another pass, another cut, this time deeper. The blade moves through the grain with precision, guided by the operator and the machine's fixed alignment. Each cut is not random, it's calculated, maximizing yield while preserving strength. You can see the texture of the wood change, from rough bark to clean exposed grain, light brown, moist, freshly revealed after decades inside the tree. As more slabs are removed, the log becomes a cant, a squared, workable block of wood. This is where real lumber begins. Now, the process speeds up. The cant is fed forward again. This time, thinner cuts are made. Long boards begin to emerge, one after another, each one uniform in thickness, each one guided precisely along the rollers. Look closely, and you'll see something important. A thin red laser line running along the surface of the board. This is the operator's guide. It marks exactly where the next cut will happen, helping ensure consistency across every single piece. Further down the line, mechanical arms engage. You can see a metal guide pressing gently against the wood, keeping it aligned, preventing drift. Because at this stage, even a small deviation can ruin an entire board. The rollers continue turning. The rhythm is constant. Wood moving forward. Cut after cut. Board after board. What was once a massive living tree is now becoming something entirely different. And then you see it. A finished board. Long, straight, smooth. The rough edges are gone. The bark is gone. What remains is structure, strength, and purpose. The grain runs clean from end to end, each line telling a story of growth, year after year, layer after layer, now repurposed, ready for use. From a chaotic natural form to precise, engineered material. And it all happens here, on these rollers, under these blades, guided by hands and experience. Because in the end, a sawmill is not just a place where wood is cut. It's where nature is shaped into something we can build with. From a towering pine in the forest to precisely cut lumber in the mill, this journey is a reminder of how raw nature is transformed through human skill. It's a process built on experience, patience, and respect for every piece of wood. If you enjoyed this look into traditional and modern craftsmanship, be sure to subscribe to AnTick Machine. Because here, every machine has a story, and every process is worth understanding.
Okay.